Oh, bollocks. How better? Yes. Hi, Lorne Risley here, host of the Halcyon show. How you doing? I think I've done like 50 of these now. I should be able to operate my own switchboard. Never mind. How you doing? Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a good day. Weather, man. This fucking weather sucks. But what are you going to do? Anyways, quick one. Been on Twitter recently? I know, right? Again, I've posted my sort of beleaguered apology to everybody that's just scrolling through timelines and seeing me go on and on and on. And I get it. I really do. However, it's not necessarily to address that. I'm sure that will be a topic of conversation later with or without me in the spaces that Danny Jack is proposing. We'll see if that actually goes, but I don't know. I wanted to talk about kind of the title of this video, which is maybe a bit clickbaity, maybe a little bit like, I'm sorry that you think that I'm here to apologize for a bunch of stuff. I'm not. Really what I'm here to do is to try and hold myself accountable in the way that I'm saying battle rap and people within battle rap aren't. So I can at least say, okay, fair enough. Because background, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Trubs and I have been going backwards and forwards again today. His point seems to be that I'm holding him to an account that I'm not holding myself to. So why am I criticizing him? And you know what? Maybe he has a point there. Now, that's the point we can explore later on in the chat. But what I wanted to exhibit there is the fact that I have a big problem with people that can't be reasonable, that can't see that there's a side to every argument that is at least worth taking into consideration before you dismiss it. One of the problems that I've had over the last couple of weeks with this discourse in particular is the idea that you can't say something's wrong without basically people calling you negative and a hater. I just counter that by saying, do me a solid, go watch Lunacy versus Madness, and then go watch Quill versus Hollow the Dawn, and tell me if you see a difference. And tell me if you really think that UK battle rap isn't capable of emulating that, duplicating it, or surpassing it if we were a little bit more honest with ourselves in what we're doing. Now, again, the reason I'm flagging this is because I want to be able to look myself and say whether or not I'm right or wrong, and be able to answer that question honestly. If I think, no, I'm right, I should be able to stand on principle and argue my point. If I'm wrong, I should be okay to say, okay, do you know what? Hold my hands up, I'm wrong. Fuck, I'm going to have to pull it up. Fuck. Because I forget his actual name. Hang on. There's replies. I'll have to deal with those later. The Smokehouse. Pick Your Battles UK. Right. I think... okay. You downplayed what they do, so okay. Oh, okay, right. We'll have to deal with that later. But anyways, despite the fact that I'm a little bit disappointed with the responses, at least they are making eloquent points and putting them to me. Now, I will say that at the moment, I don't see much of any conceding on the side of battle rap. And again, I would kind of point to this idea of, it seems to me, and I might be wrong in this assessment, that a lot of battle rappers, promoters, and people in the scene are conditioned to think that admitting you're wrong is inherently a bad thing, because it either projects or highlights weakness, or it gives people ammunition to use against you in a scene that is constantly looking and probing for weaknesses. And do you know what I mean? It's okay, fair enough. So what I'm saying is that whenever I've had, and this is particularly prevalent on social media, I would point to the fact that every time I've managed to corner someone one-on-one in a personal context, like at an event, usually it's like, okay, can I have okay, Visual was a good one. Visual was a good example. Visual and me went backwards and forwards on Twitter in the first instance, right? Bumped into him a couple of times at the event. It was a bit awkward. But then I was just like, do you know what? Fuck this, man. Right, Viz, can I talk to you? And this was not helped, by the way, by the fact that Viz was literally about to go live, right? And I just said, listen, I don't want to say I agree with you in how we discuss things. I do, though, want to say I'm sorry for how vitriolic and personal it got, and I'd like to hope that we can mend that fence one day. I'm not looking for you to say we're cool right now and vice versa, okay? Now, credit to Viz. Viz didn't immediately kowtow. Oh, no, great, blah, blah, blah. He was very much, again, kind of skeptical. A bit like, I'm not sure. And then we've gone backwards and forwards a little bit since. And now I'd like to say we're okay. I'd like to think we're all right. ScoMo is an interesting one. ScoMo's packed up again today, and I'm trying my best with him because I think with ScoMo in particular, he can be very direct, and that comes across a certain way on social media. And I don't necessarily have a problem with ScoMo anymore. I will say it was funny that we were talking at Checkpoint for about 20 minutes, and then at the end of the night, I said hi and bye again. It's like, yeah, we can. Hopefully, we don't alert again. He didn't know who I was for the 20 minutes that I was going backwards and forwards. So I was like, oh, okay, how many of these arguments do you have? Like, I don't have too many of these days. I've been known for it, granted, but I think it's funny that that was hilarious to me that he confused me with someone else. I guess I don't know, but the point being there is that even in that conversation, it was very much a give and a take. It wasn't me saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I was wrong this whole time, will you take me back, I love you? And neither was it him. It was a case of, to a certain degree, agreeing to disagree. And at the moment, in this discourse today, I see very much an antithesis of that. Every time I'm saying something, it's either the dumbest thing in the world, and I'm fucking stupid for saying it, or it's the greatest thing ever and everyone should applaud. And I'm saying, no, there can be an in-between. And there can be nothing. It could be just the case where you just agree to disagree, unless you're not arguing my point. Case in point, this exchange today has been hard work because I'm really trying hard not to be vitriolic and petty, which is hard when someone's just going, you're a dickhead. And it's like, I guess why I'm asking, am I in the wrong, is am I in the wrong for approaching it this way? Is it a case that I am approaching trying to be reasonable on social media as maybe that's dumb. Maybe that's just not possible, because through the prism of social media, everything is perceived as a threat or a disparaging statement or something to disregard. I don't know. You'd have to tell me. I'd be fascinated to see, because I posted this, right, where I was like, I want to apologize, because if my rhetoric is if I'm becoming the Twitter equivalent of battle rap, of the just stop oil people, I know how much I don't actually have much of a problem with it, just surprisingly enough. I don't really have a problem because I understand what they're doing it for, and I understand what lengths they're going to, and that comes with a certain price that they pay. But I would say though that that wasn't my intention. My intention isn't necessarily to be confrontational and dismissive and negative. I really do want to take on board criticism where I find it. That's why, for instance, and this is why I would point to the fact that I am willing to hold myself to account, and I'm sorry. At the moment, I don't see any evidence that Trubs and Jen are, because they seem quite content to hold on to their narratives and permeate what suits it and negate what doesn't. Because again, the idea of Jen saying, oh, I never publicly slandered you. You did. I'll pull the receipts if I have to. And also in the DMs, I haven't had a second DM from you, so you're welcome to send it to me. But the only DMs I really recall were you sent me a few while I was working that I didn't have a chance to respond to. And by the time I actually sat down to respond, you switched to telling me to shut the fuck up. Which, I'm sorry, that's not a term of endearment. And as far as Trubs, again, all I can say is he wants to say, oh, I've said nothing about him. Bitch, I blocked you and you still carried on talking for about a week because people were really keen and eager to send me shit to say, Lorne, by the way, Trubs is still slagging you off. And did I respond? Nah. But I'll let you know I know, because people can't help themselves. And that, by the way, is endemic of what battle rap is at the moment in terms of its discourse to me, right? I've just gone on a little spiel where I'm going after two people, which really, if we be honest, doesn't matter in the scale of things, really. It doesn't sell it. That doesn't sell a ticket. It doesn't make any of you any more or less interested in watching my show. Probably less. It's not endearing me to people who I need to endear myself with potentially if I want access to certain things, because those people are influential. And ultimately, though, it's not going to get resolved, because if it's only going to be on social media, that ill feeling is always going to be there. There's not really a lot you can do about that. If someone blocks you or decides they don't like you on social media, it's so rare to then change that opinion of them. I've managed to do it with a few people, but only really once I've gotten to say, hey, listen, no, can we have a conversation? Look, I'm not thrilled about having to have the conversation with some of these people. I've got to be honest with you. There are some people who I was genuinely reticent to approach. But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, I don't know. I just think, I feel like if it's petty and stupid, and a lot of this stuff is, man, I'll be the first to admit that. I'll hold my hand up and say, yeah, bud. Yeah, petty and stupid. Can we find a way past it? Is it possible that we can both admit some degree of culpability at some point? I'm not saying all. I'm not saying most. But I am saying, though, that it seems interesting to me that I'm being told I'm constantly wrong about my assessments. Forget the Trubs and Jen thing for a second. The thing that stemmed this is the battle rap problems that I highlighted as a result of my interview with Quill. Is it wrong to point out that I think that battle rap is the attendances of it aren't what they used to be, and that's confusing to me considering the level of talent? Is that being negative? Is that me being negative by saying, well, I think battle rappers are incredibly talented and that the work they put in should be commensurately rewarded, so that when I hear from guys who are saying I may or may not battle, it's usually down to the fact that they're not really going to be paid. They'll be given a fee, but it's not worth their time compared to other endeavors. If they're into music, if they've got a fucking full-time job, whatever. This is part of the reason why the Quill stuff was hard, because I do understand that a lot of the promoters would probably come back with, Lorne and Quill, a lot of the ideas you're proposing are not fiscally responsible for the companies we're trying to run. But the trouble is, I can't have that conversation at the moment. Trups was saying something to the effect of, what did he say? You don't cover no loose chat, or something else. Members only, right? And that's, again, to be honest, that's a valid point. I haven't covered no loose chat really at all. I want to say that the Tony interview, that was either pre or post Georgie Roots. Shuffle Tees was definitely pre no loose chat, but that was 2 years ago. Like, that's a fair point. Really fair point. And that's something I should definitely look into. As a matter of fact, I won't name names, but someone in No Loose Chat said that they'd be on Monday. I'm hoping that interview still goes ahead, because that would be a good opportunity. And this is where, again, with all due respect, and this is why I'm gritting my teeth, because this pisses me off. It really does. I want to just sit and listen. I had my say. I had 2 shows to have my say. And if the person who's going to come on is going to say, well, you've had your say, now let me respond. Do you know what? Let's hear it. I can't wait to hear it. I really do, because then we've got a conversation. Now we can progress. We're not saying either one has to concede. One person's right, one person's wrong. Maybe there's stuff I didn't see. Maybe there's stuff that they're not seeing. And that's kind of why I'm getting so pissed off, is because I think it's willful ignorance at this point. They're not looking at the bigger picture, and they're not looking at the points we're making for the reasons we're making them. It's just treated with hostility. And the sad thing is that I would love to have this conversation with Prem and Don't Flop, but I haven't heard of anything from any of them. Now, granted, because I get the entitlement label, this is coming back to what Trubs is saying. You can't have it both ways. I can't be entitled and expect interviews because I'm entitled, but then not cover anything because when I actually asked, no one wants to talk to me. It can't be both. You have to pick your narrative at this point, and I'm sorry, it's more the latter than it is the former. I would love to talk to, Trubs and Jen are 2 people that I would frankly welcome the opportunity to have a conversation with on a platform like this rather than on social media. Now, would I look forward to those conversations like I'm going to catch up with a long-lost buddy of mine? No, it would be an awkward conversation for sure, and I imagine their skin would crawl at the very sight of me, and it would probably be an awkward exchange at first. But I'd want there to be at least the opportunity to fucking talk rather than just snipe each other. And the same with the battle rap promotions. is a classic case of someone that I do not get along with personally. Every exchange I've had with him has more or less been tinged with a fuck, man. But would I deny the opportunity for him to come on and debate me, or to counter me and say, Lorne, I think you're full of shit and here's why? No, not really. No. Or if it's like, well, I don't want to go on your show because you'll edit it, I don't trust you. Okay, what's your platform? And if the argument then becomes, well, we're not going to do either one of those things because we're not going to give you coverage, well, then we're back to square one. Again, it's the snake eating its fucking tail, man. So this is why I'm getting frustrated, because it's having its cake and eating it too, this situation, and nothing gets fixed. Everything stays the same. Everyone gets more and more exacerbated with it. And the fact that everyone's saying so far on the socials, right? This is the thing that keeps coming up. You're the only one saying it. I'm not. You can go through my DMs. You can go through my personal messages. You can go through a whole bunch of shit. Not the only... There's people liking the posts. There's people liking the videos. Man, there's people watching the videos. It's not like it was titled. Do you know what I mean? No, and it probably, Shannon, first of all, thank you for joining me. Maybe not. But that's not, if the interviews are predicated on whether or not we like you rather than whether or not we trust you, how trustworthy is your source? This comes back to the trustworthy point I made, and it's still not really been debunked. If, let's say for the sake of argument, I did an incredible interview, an earth-shattering, mind-blowing interview with someone, do you think Trubs is going to share it? And he's your trusted media source. If Cammy does a great job, is he going to get shared if he happens to share an opinion that Trubs doesn't like? No. Same with Jen. The only time that they're going to cover me is when I've spoken about them and said something they don't like, and they want to say he's full of shit. That's not, I'm sorry, man. Whereas, frankly, if I saw anything that they did well, it wouldn't be remiss of me. I've liked and retweeted a lot of stuff of theirs because, frankly, it's nice to share shit that I think would do well, that I think an audience would like and appreciate, or that I do believe has had a lot of effort put into it and demands a commensurate reward. That's fine. I ain't seen shit from their side, and I don't like them any more than they like me. So, if the argument becomes, Lorne, you're the worst part of it, what? Nah, I reject that statement. I reject that argument out of hand. And if the idea is, no, Lorne, you need to shut up at this point, why the fuck would I at this point? Why the fuck would I? When apparently there is an audience for it. There are people that agree with me. There are people that hold these beliefs. There are people that are disgruntled with UK battle rap. There are people that aren't satisfied with the discourse and the way things are. And the fact that if anyone puts their hand up to say something that's generally not well received, they get called an idiot. And if I'm the only one publicly doing it, fine. Okay. Again, it doesn't affect my ability to be able to get interviews outside of battle rap for sure. Because no one... Again... This comes back to the whole reason we're having this discussion in the first place. Do you have any idea how inconsequential battle rap is to a commercial audience these days? How little they care about it? How few fucks are given when I try my best to talk to a colleague, a friend, a co-worker, someone in the street, and I mention battle rap, and I'm like, hey man, do you know what you should do? You should come to an event. You should definitely come to an event. You sound like the kind of person that would fucking love it. You sound like you're into comedy. You sound like you're into music. Whatever it is, man. And the response is generally, oh, battle rap? That sounds a bit weird. A bit odd. Oh, no, I'm not sure. And I don't get that assessment because I fucking love battle rap. I think battle rap's one of the most interesting... do you know what? I'm not going to go on that spiel. I've said that a million times, which is why, again, the negativity argument gets me. The idea of, well, Lorne, you're only negative. Really? You clearly don't listen to my rants long enough for me to get to the point where I go, do you know what, man? The battle rap's fucking brilliant, and here's why. It's just that some of the people in it are hard to deal with at the best of times. And it's not easy. It's incredibly difficult to have an honest, frank conversation that doesn't devolve into just petty name calling. And that's, again, man, Smokehouse? What was it? Hang on. The Smokehouse. Pick Your Battles UK. Makes a good point. It's like, yeah, but it seems like you don't like being called names. Do you know what? You're right. It sucks being called names for kind of no reason. Like, not no reason, but you get what I mean. Like, in my mind, if I've genuinely fucked up, there's people in battle rap who know that I will come back with I'll say, listen, dude, do you know what? I fucked up. I'm sorry about that. That's my mistake. Apologize today if I really think that this is somehow... This is why this is interesting, because if someone's coming to my channel now to tell me to stop, you completely defeating... It's my channel. I can do and say whatever the fuck I like. And it's for me and my audience to decide. If the audience doesn't watch, then chances are I'm not going to do it again. If the audience watches, then I must be doing something that warrants their attention. Good or bad or indifferent, and that's not the argument at play here. The argument at play here is there a problem in battle rap? And resoundingly, I've been told no on social media, and resoundingly off it, I've been told, yeah, there's a couple of big problems. It's just that no one really wants to talk about it, because why would you? When your reward is, hey, you're an idiot. And I'm sorry, man, that's not good enough. Still not good enough. Someone was like, oh, you're a self-appointed whatever. I'm like, well, kind of everyone's self-appointed, dude. like, no one appointed Trubs the most trusted UK battle rap member. That I won't take that away from him. That's the result of the poll. And one of the comments that keeps coming up in this at the moment is fuck, what was it? You're sour about it? Where was it? Hang on. I want to be clear and I want to be factual. Where is it? Oh. Fuck. Have I lost it now? I might have lost it. Trubs' point was that I was mad that he came up top on the poll. And my argument to that is, well, no, because I put your name on there. I genuinely want to know who is revered and trusted by Battle Rap's audience. Now, granted, 17 votes. And London Jen didn't get a vote. I don't believe that for a second. I think some people just do. They do trust her. And that's fine. I've got no problems with an audience liking and trusting her content. That's fine. Same with I don't really have a problem with people liking and trusting Trubs' content. In both instances, so long as we're clear about what they're trusting them to do. And my argument, and this is why I think there's a disconnect, my argument is from a journalistic and integral perspective. Like, do you trust them to tell you about everything that's going on in battle rap dispassionately and fairly? I don't think you can, because I think they have affiliations and biases towards leagues that they have interests in. That shouldn't be a controversial thing to say. And frankly, it shouldn't be a controversial thing for them to admit. If they say, well, yeah, you know, I work for Premier Battles, so I'm probably going to be more favourable to Premier Battles. As long as you disclose that and you're honest with it, that's fine. And if you're not, and if the argument is, well, no, Lord, there's no bias here, I would say, okay, but it's not reflected in your content. It's not a particularly hard conclusion to draw and I combed through it to make sure, okay, do you know what Trubs has said? No, I covered Don't Flop Bear. Okay. Combed through, he's covered it 4 times, I think across 7 videos in 2 years. When compared to Premier Battles and even no loose chats coverage, that's nothing. So that's not, and you telling me that Don't Flop didn't have anything in that time that was worth covering? Lunacy came back, man. Like, okay. London Jen countered with the same thing, but this is the problem, right? Selective. Yeah, she covered it on the YouTube channel. I remember her going backwards and forwards with Lunacy when Luna said, have me on, and she said no. Now, with all due respect, again, from a media perspective, let me just point this out. Are you telling me an audience doesn't want to see an interview with Lunacy? I can tell you they fucking can. It's one of my most popular videos, one of my most watched videos from start to finish. The segments haven't done quite so well, but that's fine. I bet if I did shorts, they'd be the most popular ones too. So there's definitely an audience for Lunacy. Why? And he wants to be on. So why are you not having on unless you have a bias? Unless you have a vendetta against him and you want to make it his fault somehow. Now, this is an indictment on Lunacy. Lunacy was trying to do his bit to promote his battle, and I've got nothing but respect for it. In the same way that if I felt that this backwards and forwards contributed to something positive in battle rap, I'd be probably happy to let it continue. But the reason I want to sit down with London Jen and Trubs on their platforms or on mine, or just at any one point, whenever, and just talk, is even if we don't like each other, I want it to be clear why, because I think we're arguing past each other a little bit at this stage. And they're right. I shouldn't be a focal point of this, just like they shouldn't be a focal point. It's battle rap, and it's the battles, it's the events, it's the battlers, it's aspects of battle rap we should be talking about, because that's part of the problem that Quill was highlighting, is that there really isn't a media platform that you can go to really understand what's going on in battle rap. One of the ideas that I was thinking of piloting over the next few weeks is a top 10 of the goings on in UK battle rap on a regular basis, just so I can say, again, hold myself accountable for a second and say, hey, maybe I'm not doing battle rap the justice I think it deserves, and maybe I should be fucking standing up and doing something about it. Okay, what can I do? What's in my skill set? What do I think would work? And Quill's suggestion of like a top 10 kind of sounded I could do that. I could collate 10 things that happened in a week. The trouble with that is, of course, I'm always, again, and I mean, I know Shannon doesn't. She doesn't mean ill when she says this. She's trying to say, stop, you're making a mistake. In her perspective, I get it. I understand why you would say that. And what I would say is, hang on. Okay. Okay, no, I'm gonna disagree with the Smokehouse there. No, trying to elevate themselves. There's a difference. Look, again, man, elevating myself in this situation would be focusing on interviews with people that would get me subscribers, that would get me views, that would get me opportunities into other realms. with all due respect to Battle Rap, it doesn't do that currently, and that's kind of where some of my frustration comes in, because I want it to be. I want Battle Rappers to be like, hey man, my schedule's booked up with a million different things that are going to pay me significantly more than your interview, so let's put it in down the line. That would be a great response to hear from the guys on a regular basis. It really would. And if I can do something in the interim to help elevate guys by showcasing what they can do, by showcasing who they are behind the veneer, by giving them an opportunity to speak their minds in a way that they're not going to get undermined and curtailed whenever they express something I happen to disagree with, then that's what I'll do. My job, I don't think... Rake, okay. Where are the guests? So, again... no guests ever. I had fucking Quill on Monday. Fuck me. Two days ago. And when was the last one? When was the last one? So, considering the nature of this conversation, I'll leave the names out because I don't want to color them. But you can go back and see. Everyone that I questioned, yeah, I'm working on. Basically, it's to answer your question, Rake, it's a scheduling issue. I have a full-time job now that I can't work from home doing. So I can't sneak in an hour here or there. I'm on site all day, every day. And secondly, it turns out everyone's super busy doing their... Again, the number one response I've gotten to the guys I mentioned on that show was, I'm not doing Battle Rap at the moment. I'm not really promoting anything, so I don't really have any reason to come on to talk to you about Battle Rap. Which is... that's fair. If they don't have anything to promote and they've got nothing to talk about, then I can understand that. I'd still love to talk to them about other things. O'Shea's a good example of someone that I said, hey, if you don't have a battle on, let's just talk about gaming. Well, I'm happy. That's why I made his thumbnail gaming motif. But he came down with an illness, and he hasn't really rebounded in terms of being on social media. And I don't want to bother him too much. It's O'Shea, man. The guy's worthy of respect. But back to the point. Sorry, sidetracked again. At one point, you were bored. Come on, then. Ha ha! I actually quite like this assessment. At one point, you were borderline the Ariel, I'm assuming Helwani of Battle Rap, but never get guests, so it's a little bit disappointing. Do you know what? That's fair. That's fair. It's why I stopped doing the live streams as well, dude, because I figured, well, what's the point of me doing live? It's just me talking. Like, who cares, right? The guests are where the juice is. And the point I was going to make, and this is where I'm trying to be fair, right? One of Trubs' points seemed to be along the lines of, like, why are you not doing this, that, or the other? And it's like pre and post match analysis, or I forget. But the insinuation was, why are you not covering the events more? Very simple. I'm not an expert. I'm a fan. Why would I present my opinion as fact, or why would I try and have an opinion or opine on something I'm not an expert on? I can only tell you if I liked or disliked a battle. That's why I have done the reactions. I thought that was a good way of trying to spread a little positivity and do that on a regular basis. And to be fair, the battle reactions have done pretty well. I should do more of them. But as far as guests are concerned, it's just scheduling issues, dude. I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but it is literally a case of, if we're being honest, Bobby Rex was supposed to be week ago, 2 weeks ago, and that just didn't happen because it didn't happen, okay? I want to be respectful as far as why. Pedro hasn't come back to me, but he said he'd do it. Heretic, I think I have a DM from him. I just haven't responded to it, but he's been backwards and forwards on availability, and so have I, so that's fault on both our parts. Quill was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Just kind of messaged him on, I think, a Thursday or a Friday, and he said, well, I ain't got time because I'm away, let's do it on Sunday. So we did it on Sunday. Who else? Zen I haven't heard from. I could chase him though. But again, that's a fair point. There haven't been any guests on recently. Okay, assuming that I don't get exiled again, I'm happy to address that. But the reason we're all here is because, again, the question we asked at the beginning of the week is, does Battle Rap have a problem? And so far, the only response is, yeah, you. And I go, okay, can I ask you a question then? Am I responsible for the fact that you've got rooms of 30 people? Am I responsible for the fact that the guys are not promoting as much as they perhaps could? Am I responsible for the fact that promoters can't afford to pay battlers a certain rate because their income and revenue isn't matching with the expectations of the battlers from years past? Is it my fault that, generally speaking, the discourse within the scene is pretty tepid? Like, again, haha, Griffey Z, quote, "You are completely insufferable." Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you giving me a few moments of your time. What was I on? Yeah, so these, again, completely negating the point. These are all problems, man. These are all big problems. And I fail to see how I'm responsible for any of them except for the fact that I highlighted them. And now it turns out one of the most prolific battlers in the UK has his own gripes. I'm not saying he agrees with me. I'm not going to say that because I think that would be a little bit disingenuous. But he's got a problem with it. The video was titled "Problems Within Battle Rap." I did a live stream and 100 of you have tuned in, and I think 15 of you have liked it. That's not just me then, is it? Like, and the idea, and again, I use the quilt example because in Germany at the moment, they're filling rooms with 1,000 people with guys that they don't speak their language, and yet they're going crazy for it. They've got a passion for it. Now, I'd put the UK's fandom of battle rap up against anyone else's in the world, save for maybe America. Let's say ours is better. There's nothing like a battle rap fan in terms of the passion and the intensity, but they're just not around anymore. And when they are, they're on social media. They're not at the events. They're not buying the tickets. They're not sharing all of the stuff that we're providing. This is something that I'm going to defend. I'll defend Trubs and Jen and Cammy and me from a certain perspective of saying, like, we do put stuff out, and sometimes it just doesn't get any traction. Like, y'all are unaware of some of the stuff that we're doing. And that's frustrating at times because when you see what it could do, what traction it could have, you think it could be better. It just could. And again, having this conversation with a promoter would be helpful. Like, again, I am fully prepared for a promoter, any promoter, Briggsy, Stro, so this is how little, I think it's Paris. Paris was someone who tweeted me the other day. From No Loose Chat, come on and tell me I'm full of shit and explain your point so I can understand it from your perspective better and counter. Then we've got a discussion rather than what I think it is. Again, everything is being misconstrued as a direct insult. Everything I'm doing is being misconstrued as an attack on them, on battle rap, that I'm just trying to tear it down effectively, apparently. And that's not true. It's if I was trying to tear it down, dude, frankly, I'd just ignore it. Because that's what's killing battle rap at the moment, frankly, is the fact that no one really is engaging with it outside of a hardcore group of people that have been loyal to it through and through. But that loyalty is leading to gatekeeping, which is so fucking infuriating. You find me insufferable. I'll tell you what I find insufferable. When fans suggest things that they think would be fun or that they'd like to see and it's shot down immediately because that's not what we do. Fuck. What you do now does not draw the audiences it could because of the evidence of the past. If you were able to engage with a new audience in a way that resonates with them, you'd be able to make this successful. But instead, we're doing the same things over and over and over again, even recycling this bollocks. Don't think about the problems of battle rap. Just blame Lorne for being a negative Nelly, and we'll just say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and then that's that. Job done. Sweet. Cut to the next battle where two guys are promoting their fucking asses off in the ring, trying to get some traction, trying to get some fucking attention, and the fucking handful of people that are there clap and applaud, and that's that. Never makes it out of its own fucking echo chamber. It never makes itself out of the bubble. And again, I'm sorry, if me being negative is me saying that's not acceptable and that battle rappers deserve to be paid commensurate to their efforts. This was the point Pick Your Battles was making about Trubs. Is like, well, Trubs has worked really hard to get to where he is. Surely he deserves that adulation. I'm like, dude, hard work is not a guarantee of fucking jack shit. Hard work's what you do to give yourself the ability and opportunity to succeed. That's the point. Hard work in of itself isn't worthy of reward in of itself. You can work really hard and still be shit. Apparently, that's what I am. I would be successful if it was down to how hard I work. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get interviews over the line? To Rake's point, I do apologize for the lack of interviews, but you don't understand. Sometimes scheduling conflicts are so frustrating because you'll get to the day an interview's due, and they drop out with very little explanation. And it's so frustrating when you've put in hours of research. That was one of the few things Trubs was actually willing to concede. And I'll give him credit for that. He was like, you do good research. Yeah, because I work fucking hard at it. But it doesn't matter if the research doesn't land. If it doesn't lead to an interesting question or an interesting exchange. It's not in me to look at the audience and say, come on, man, I worked really hard on that interview. You should be watching it. It's thousands. It's either you do or you don't. If you don't watch it, that's my fault. Because I didn't put on a good enough product. I didn't put on a good enough interview. I didn't have the exchange with the guest that I should have had. That's my fault. And in the same way I'm assuming culpability and responsibility for that, I don't see the same on the opposite end. I don't see anyone holding their hands up saying, yep, totally understand. Totally understand. And again, I'm on the timeline now, and it's just become kind of it's Pylon Lawn. He's an easy target. He's saying things that the rest of us don't agree with, so he must be wrong, and therefore. And dude, if one thing from my last two exchanges has taught me something is, look, I don't really care about the fallout now, because enough people around me know me well enough to know it comes from a good place, or enough people around me are willing to just use it as fuel for their fire. This will probably just be used as more evidence, as like, look, Lorne doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Cool, okay. I'm not here to try and convince you. I'm here to just explain myself to the people that are willing to listen. And in this case, coming back to the title of this video, maybe I'm wrong. Do you know what? Maybe I have been approaching some of this wrong. Maybe it is time I start thinking about how I can apply, instead of the interviews, the top 10 list. If the top 10 list doesn't work, more reaction videos. If the reaction videos don't work, maybe I need to start thinking about another content type. Maybe I need to start being more productive to kind of, wow. See what I mean? I'm not, again, I want to, because while I appreciate the backup from some of the comments here, right, and I really do, this is the thing. It's who's right or wrong shouldn't be a popularity contest, man. It should be who's right and who's wrong. It should be who's got the better argument, who's got the best point. And if Trubs genuinely thinks that battle rap is in the best place it could possibly be in given the circumstances, and I'm misconstruing or misrepresenting or misunderstanding a point, frankly, it would be more helpful for him to explain or have a discussion, fuck it, not even with me, with someone else, than just call me a dickhead and call it a day. At least I feel that would be more productive, because maybe I am a dickhead, maybe I'm not. But the fact remains that, yeah, he's putting a lot of work in the scene, but if he's still not willing to at least hear my argument of saying, well, why aren't things at least a little bit better? Why are things so hard to promote? Why is it so hard to garner interest in the product these days? Why are so many of the guys failing to transition from the lower tier to the so-called top tier? Why are so many guys getting ridiculed online and quitting? If those questions are hard questions to fucking answer, surely it's worth wrestling with them. Or if you disagree with my assessment, I'd like to see some evidence instead of just saying, nah, fucking bollocks. Sorry, man. And the clip that they posted earlier was frankly funny to me. Trubs clipped something of one of my videos. Number one, thanks for watching, Trubs. I appreciate it. Secondly, everything in the video I said, yep, 100%, and I'd say it again. I wish I could pull the video up now, listen to it, and repeat it verbatim, because, yeah, I meant every word. I failed to see what the point is, other than you clipped my video. Good for you. It's just, it's funny to me that if the argument is, Lorne, you're being negative, therefore bad. Okay, what would you prefer me to point to then in terms of an indication that battle rap is more successful now than at a certain point? Let me hear the evidence. Let me hear the contrasting argument rather than just going, fuck him, blah, 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 post memes and all the rest of it. Because that's all that happened last time. All that happened last time was people just posted pictures of my own face. I am aware of what I'm look like, but thank you for reminding me. Disparaging me and then quote tweeting each other, and that was that. That was that. Again, what got resolved? Nothing. And battle rap rumbled on the way it was. And I would argue that 2024 is a quieter year for battle rap in the UK when, man, considering how the year set its stall out, it has no right to be. There's something that someone has fucked up. And it can't be me because apparently I'm not important. Okay, let's run through. I'm not important to begin with, apparently. Okay? And even if I was important, my opinion means nothing because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And even if I did know what the fuck I'm talking about, you wouldn't understand the responses anyway because you don't know the inner workings of battle rap. I never claimed any of those things to begin with. But that's why I do the interviews, because the interviews allow me an insight into something I couldn't have by myself. It's frankly the interview, the interviews are the things that I look forward to the most because I get to just ask a question, sit back and listen. I don't have to have an opinion. I can just listen to the person, effectively educate me and the audience. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing in me that wants to be here right now being the focal point of this discussion because I'm not in charge of anything. I can't click my fingers and pay battlers more. I can't click my fingers and make people attend battle rap events. I can't click my fingers and tell someone like a Trubs, hey, instead of being a petty piece of shit online, if you have a problem with someone, and you're in business, by the way, which again still baffles my mind, the fact that he's a promoter and he goes after people on a public forum in a way that other fans and paying customers can see, and he's surprised when people go, do you know what, actually I don't fancy it. Do you know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Rake, I'm not sure I understand your point. Tony, Soul, Shuffle, Quill have all sat down with you for hours in depth. That is all you need to know. So this is, again, I'm not going to interpret that as attack or a diss or an enforcement or anything. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If the idea is that I should have assimilated enough information to know about battle rap at this point, I would counter that by saying I didn't really discuss the inner workings of battle rap with any of them. Soul did, in the second interview, do a breakdown of one of Bender's verses, which I thought was fascinating and interesting. But again, I can't follow because I'm not a rapper. Tony, we talked about fucking everything. Shuffle, we talked about his fucking book. You don't need opinion of others, bro. It's a good thing. This is the thing. This is the other thing. I am remarkably stupid sometimes, so I'm still not sure I'm following the point you're making, Rake. Be handy if I could just have you. It would just like press a button and then I could hear you speak. That's why the spaces will be interesting. Oh right, okay. No, okay, fair enough. They gave you your time. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, because I think where I continue to come back into battle rap is that I'm seen as a good interviewer. I'm seen as someone that can ask good questions and that I can pose things to guests that they're not asked on other platforms. But that doesn't mean that I usurp them or replace them. Quill, again, to reference our chat, made a good point about the backwards and forwards between the different platforms. You know, Jen does this and that's great. Trubs does this and that's great. Cammy does this and that's great. You do this and that's great. And he's right. There's a space for everything and everyone, in the same way that when he made the point about taking battles on the road rather than just doing them once and calling it quits. You can do both. Like, one doesn't eliminate the other, but it seems like whenever that's been floated in the past, or take the example I saw this week was the idea that Bizzo can't have a rematch with Jem for the Don't Flop title if he loses. And the answer was broadly, well, he hasn't done enough in Don't Flop to warrant a title match. And my argument to that is, you do realise that the only reason Jem is battling is because he has a following big and broad enough to warrant giving him a title. That's got nothing to do... If someone came in tomorrow and did a battle that did 10 million views, you better believe that that person's getting pushed right to the fucking top of the card, considering the landscape of battle rap today. There's not even a question of that. Mainly because it would be good business sense. You wouldn't deny someone having the opportunity to battle for your league's title if they have that kind of a pull and a push, or that kind of a following. You'd be mad not to. Whereas the counter argument seemed to be, well, Biz hasn't done enough in Don't Flop to warrant a title match. Okay, so are you saying that Biz can't have a title match at Don't Flop despite the fact that the intrigue of this battle is the fact that it's the Don't Flop champion versus the Prem champion? Because I'm sorry, that is the intrigue, dude. That's the reason we're headlining this match. I mean, not taking anything away from the battlers on their own, but it's a seminal event in UK battle rap. The two top leagues battlers are going to go head to head, and there will be a winner. Even if it's unofficial, there will be a undisputed UK battle rap champion for the first time in 5, 6, 7 years, however long Prem's been going. That's sellable. I buy that. I bought a ticket on that basis. Can't go now. Work. By the way, there is still a ticket available. DM me if you need a ticket to... It's not like I'll be welcome there now anyway. But yeah, Apex is going to be a great event, but chiefly because of the allure of that. And to argue any different is you're being obtuse or you're being ignorant. I'm sorry. Because the argument is you're not seeing it from a fan's perspective. From a fan's perspective, it's what you can sell them. And the idea that you would go, no, Biz doesn't get a shot, when if fans demanded it, you should, because it's what makes good business sense. And yet you get pushback about that. Fans constantly, I see it in the comment sections at times, fans suggest stuff all the time. And all the time they're met with this fucking dismissal of, no, that's not how we do it. That wouldn't work. How the fuck would you know? And I point to the fact that when you look at the history of Don't Flop, it was just a bunch of young lads just kind of fucking eyeballing it, man. Just flying by the seat of their pants and doing what they could here and there. Now, granted, that led to a toxic-ass environment that ultimately capitulated for various reasons. But for a period of time, man, Don't Flop was the shit. Don't Flop was the fucking shit. And I refuse to believe it couldn't still be the shit today. I refuse to believe that Prem couldn't be the shit today. You look at their branding. You look at the ability for them to mobilize and put on events. Look at how hard the guys work. You look at how talented each individual person in their step is. And you tell me that can't be successful across multiple platforms? Or it couldn't be more successful? Like, I feel like, let's get some receipts now, guys. I feel like, I said guys. Oh. Don't you hate it when streamers do that? Hey, guys. If it will load. Sorry, bear with me. Prem. Yeah, battles. And the reason I'm picking on Prem here is because Trubs is the one that's under review here, and Trubs is more affiliated with Prem than he is with Don't Flop. Oh, and the face-off is going live at 7. I retweeted that, by the way, because I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Who knows? Let's go. Videos. So... let's go. We've got 13k, 1.7k, 4.3k, 1.7k, 6.3k, 757, 1k, 932, 10k, 1.9, 2.1, 523, 1.6, 707, 19k. To answer your question, what's going on? Do you know what? You'd have to ask the comment section because they would give you a funnier answer than me. Squid Inny Ink. You'd have to ask the comments; they'd be funnier than me. And some of the names in some of these videos, man. You've got Shuffle T in here. You've got Tony D. You've got Pamphlets in there. You've got Thesaurus in there. You've got. Of course, the short circuit stuff is not going to be as granted. Okay. Who else we got? We've got Viz in there. We've got Biz in there. P Soldiers in there. Black T's in there. Reverse is in there. And then we're into Plug 4 stuff. And then we're back into the sort of the Match Day 5 stuff and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So, and then we come to the source of my discontent. Conor McGregor versus ScoMo rap battle, right? That only has 27k views. Like, am I wrong in thinking that? Thank you, 33 Steps. I appreciate it. Just to throw someone under the bus. Selective politics and selective narratives. Welcome to UK Battle Rap. You're a breath of fresh air, mate. I appreciate that. And look, here's what I'm trying to say, in fact, because I've given the numbers. And look, my assessment of that is that doesn't seem like a lot. Premier Battles has got 20,000 subscribers, so I suppose they're performing their metrics some of the time. But, yeah, that just seems low to me. That just doesn't... I feel... And then let's go to the shorts. Shorts is a way of promoting these days, and I can do shorts. They clip them up and they do them, and yeah, there's a few, not a lot though. Yeah, I mean it's there. Podcast, and this is another gripe of mine. Why don't Prem host a weekly or monthly podcast? Why don't Flop has a podcast though? I should stop myself there, but Prem don't, and I really think they should. Yeah, it just that doesn't seem like a lot comparative to what I think the guys should be doing, and it's not a lack of quality, and it's not a lack of hard work. There's a disconnect at some point, and I'm not saying it's because of what I'm complaining about here, which is the discourse. I think the discourse is tiring on both sides. Trust me, as tiring as you think it is, seeing me get called a dickhead on Twitter is way more fucking tiring being called a dickhead on Twitter by someone that is, again, firmly missing the point of what I'm trying to do, which is just fucking ask questions and try and get things in a better state than they currently are, because the way things are sucks. It sucks. Again, if you can't express an opinion without being called stupid, without having some justification, it sucks. When people can just fly off the handle at something you don't like, that you say that they don't like, and that's that, fuck, we got problems, man. It's hard work, man. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, it's 6:15 now. Apparently, Danny Jack is doing a live Spaces at 8. And then there's the Premier Battles face-off between Bizzo Bond and Gemini. And this all kind of started because I quote tweeted Biz and just said I was upset that he didn't tweet me. It's a joke. I understand why he wouldn't. But that's neither here nor there. You out there, John? Hello. So I'm in the middle of a live stream now, and I forgot to close my door, so sorry. Little behind the scenes there. Anyways, back to the point. The whole topic became, just because I quote tweeted, it's like, yeah, it's kind of funny, and he made it say, oh, you need to stop being negative about him if you ever want respect. No. Stop being negative about you when you stop giving me things to be negative about. I'll stop bitching about battle rap's tendencies and some of the issues therein when it stops being bitch worthy. And the fact, this is the thing, they're using the fact that I'm talking about negative shit again as evidence of my negativity. Nah, bitch, this is evidence it's not gone away. And it's still there, and it's still a pain in everyone's ass, except for a group of people that directly benefit from the status quo of the way things are, and shaking it up would threaten that. Why would you ever assume culpability or any kind of responsibility when you don't have to? You've got a neat little system that any qualms, any quibbles can be just, you're stupid, and ultimately everyone has to fucking just go, yeah, I must be stupid. Fuck, man. So yes, maybe I'm wrong in trying to approach this in the way that I did, by trying to reach out, by trying to be amenable on social media. Maybe I should have just gone, fuck you, peace, I'm out. I don't know. All I can tell you is that, again, as many fans as I lost after the last two exchanges, I gained. That's what's stupid. That's why, again, ultimately, I don't really see any credence to the argument that I'm a negative influence on UK battle rap, because I've gained subscribers and views since I started talking about this stuff. Do you think they're following me because they like hearing me bitch about stuff? They're following me and liking my stuff because they think, well, maybe he's got a point. But they don't feel comfortable saying it to an open audience like I am. And isn't that saying something, that you've cultivated an environment where people are afraid to just say what they fucking think? They don't think it's worth the fucking squeeze for the juice. And in that tiring, and look, granted, everyone's right. We should probably have something better to do. But nah, fuck it, I'm here. Let's talk about it. And I'll reiterate the exchanges again. I've already been told no, but I want to make sure I'm clear that I've said it publicly rather than just on social media. If Trubs, if Jen, if any fan, if any promoter, if any battler takes any issue with anything I've said, and they want to have their say, I look forward to it. I would prefer to have it as a discussion, though, so it can be a discussion. It can be a debate. It doesn't just turn into a promo battle. That's why this is a live stream now, because frankly, it would have been nice for Jen to say, okay, fine, fuckface, I'm going to come on your show and I'm going to give you what's what. Or you're going to come on my show and I'm going to give you what's what. So at least then I have the opportunity to sit across from the person that I disagree with and have a discussion. Maybe we still end up in the same place at the end, but fuck, at least we tried. And instead, I've been told to go forth. That's fine. I don't have to be that petty. I don't need to be that petty, so I'm not going to be. I'm going to say, Drubs, Jen, promoters, battlers, fans, if any of you think, Lorne, I think you're 100% wrong. The Insufferable God, where are you? Griffey Z, you're in cover. Okay, cool. Do you want to come on and talk about it? Or are you just content to bitch and moan like I'm bitching and moaning? Because, again, with all due respect, we've got to be consistent then. If I can't bitch and moan, I don't want to hear your fucking bitching and moaning. But if you're going to bitch and moan because I'm bitching and moaning, well, it's got to go somewhere. It's got to lead somewhere. It's got to be something productive. Otherwise, we're just With that meme where both guys are swearing at each other as they're walking away. Nothing happens. So, let's wrap it up there. Because I'd quite like to have some dinner. If I'm going to be eviscerated later on social media, I'd quite like to not be hungry when that happens. I appreciate those of you who join me live. For those of you who are watching this back after the fact to clip it up and send it to your employer, hi. It's lovely to see you again. It's lovely living rent-free in your fucking head, despite the fact that I'm not important and I don't have any real say in battle rap. Oh. So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to having something positive to think about battle rap again. I really am. Again, I'm probably going to pick a battle to react to tomorrow, because I'd quite like to do a live reaction video, irrespective of what happens in the space and irrespective of what else happens on social media today. I'd quite like to sit and do a reaction because they're fun and I like doing them. Just haven't done one in a while. I just haven't picked one to do, but I could pick 3 or 4 and do them back to back. It wouldn't be that hard. So yeah, look forward to that. I'll reiterate again, it's a scheduling issue. I can't make it to Apex. I have a ticket that I've paid for. I'm not asking for any money. If someone needs a spare ticket or wants a spare ticket or wants a ticket to go, DM me on Twitter and I'll send you the details so that you can go and enjoy a great event. Again, that's not kind of... It's funny. This has happened today, but frankly, I messaged someone, I won't say who, I messaged someone yesterday about this to say, hey, if I have a spare ticket, where should I give it to? Because I can't make it. It'll probably be used against me, though, because that's how it is. Look, he's afraid to come to the event. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'd love to say this was fun. I'm sure it's been about as much fun. Squiddy in the ink. You can DM me on Twitter. It's first come, first serve. So whoever gets me first gets the ticket. Yeah, I'd love to say this has been fun. Let's never do this again. Unless we have to. If we have to, then we have to. There's nothing really I can do about it because I'm going to talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. And if it costs me an interview here or there, I'm way past really caring about that. It's a disappointment and it sucks. But the one I really always wanted was a shotty win, and that's never going to happen now. So, it's all downhill from there anyway. So, I won't interview battlers if that's the case. But we've said this before, and I've had battlers on again. So, again, it's almost like a lot of this shit is petty and could be resolved with just a spirited adult conversation. But what the fuck do I know, eh? Anyways, did I even say who I was? My name's Lorne Risley. I'm the host of the Halcyon show. I do appreciate your time and your energy, because this was tiresome for me, so I imagine it was tiresome for you, and I am so sorry about that. It fucking sucks that, yeah, this is more of this bullshit, but whatever, man. I'm not tired of doing this. I'll keep doing it. And if you guys are tired of doing it, then that's fine. Just, honestly, I don't mind if you don't watch. Unsubscribe. Don't watch. Dislike. Fucking unfollow me on Twitter or mute me. It really doesn't matter how you do it, so long as you tailor your experience to be as joyful as possible. In this case, I still want to like and follow Battle Rap. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to vent my opinion from time to time. And if that's a problem for people, then that's a problem for people. I'd rather it not. I'd rather it just come from the place it's meant to come from. And someone just go, okay, don't like what Lorne's saying, but I can see why he's saying it, and I want to address it, so let's deal with it. No, it's he's a dickhead. Okay, all right. So this has been Lorne Risley, a.k.a. the podcast guy, as I'm sometimes known. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go check out Premier Battles has got it since I'm here. They've got the face-off between Bizzo Bond and Gemini pegged for, I think it's 7 o'clock. So it's pre-recorded. Yeah, 7 p.m. So that'll go live later on. You can watch that while you're waiting for the spaces, which I'll be on. Whether or not I'll get a chance to talk, Whether or not it's a good idea for me to have a chance to talk, who knows? But yeah, we'll call it a day there. Johnny, you're catching me right at the back end, brother. Yeah, just take good care of yourselves, man. I know that, and I said this on Twitter as well. Again, and I will apologise for this, if I've added to the negativity in your world today with this exchange and this backwards and forwards, I really sincerely mean it when I say I'm sorry. There's enough shit going on in the world right now that is far and away more important and far more pertinent to address than fucking battle rap. I totally take that point. And it's not my intention to do that. It's just an unfortunate consequence of it. Johnny, the Spaces is at 8 unless Danny cancels it. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably not... I'll wait for the Spaces to start before I join in, because he cancelled one yesterday in lieu of Trubs doing something at the same time. So, because that wasn't weird. Yeah, anyways, let me just go through. Shannon, I know we disagree yet again, and I know you're trying your best to circumvent me from making a mistake in your eyes. I appreciate you probably didn't approve of this, but I appreciate you checking out the show. Culver, my boy, you are my boy. We ride and die, son. I appreciate you. Rake, I appreciate you chiming in. Griffey Z, you're completely insufferable too, but I like you anyway. George Abbott, pains me to see the battle scene going down the way it is. It's not the actual battling, it's the egos. Well, that's for the fans to decide, I guess. I've made my case at this point, but George, I appreciate you joining. Squid in Ink, yeah, DM me, and I'll take a look and see if I can get you my details emailed across. 33 steps, appreciate you, brother. And Johnny, catching us right at the deep end, appreciate it. So, listen, go have a great evening. Maybe I'll see you on the Spaces later. Maybe I won't. Depends if I run off crying as a result of all the banter I'm about to get, or none. Maybe nothing happens. Who knows? But in the meantime, yeah, just take good care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of this weather while it lasts. Stay safe, please. Just do your best to take care of yourself and stay safe out there. It feels hard and violent as shit out there at the moment. So yeah, just take good care of yourselves. And yeah, let's call it there. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow for a live stream. We'll see. But in the meantime, I've been your host, Lorne. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Halcyon Show.